outright winners, top finishing positions, head-to-head matchups, Draftkings Darlings, and of course, breakdown all that much more. It is U.S. Open week. I'm your host, Andy Lang. Thank you for joining us on the Cut Line. Being joined, as always, by my fellow golf betting expert, Yann. We got a big one this week, Yann. We got Shinnecock. I have been there. I was there in 2018. I've walked this course. My favorite memory is they had Jon Rahm, Sergio Garcia, and Rafa Cabrera Bayo in the same group. And Jon Rahm bogeyed the first or second hole and was just in a bad mood the whole round. And my buddy and I could not get enough of it. We were just like, this is awesome. Jon Rahm's just steam's coming out of his head. So I'm excited for this week, buddy. How about you?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. On all three Spanish group. That's a wild temperament, man.
That's what we thought. We were calling them the Three Amigos. We were just why did they put these guys in
crazy.
the same group?
That's crazy. That matchmaking superb. Really good. Love that.
Had to have been on purpose. And they had Tyrrell Hatton and Ian Poulter in the same group in the afternoon, and we followed them. We followed them. It was
the blood pressure on this course, man. Mental.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's do Tales from the Courtesy Tent. We're gonna have a lot of new viewers here. So, Tales from the Courtesy Tent is the worst shots, the funniest shots, or the funniest moments from last week. I did pull a couple out. We can start with the first one. I believe it's Keith Mitchell. And Keith Mitchell, look at that look on Mitchell's face after he hit. He's just like, oh God. And then you get the visor up on top of the head. So this was quite a one from Keith Mitchell. And then the second one that I had, I can't remember, who was this? My favorite is this caption. He can get the ball close. It's like, oh, can he? Oh, he can get the ball close from there. I have no idea where that is on the course. I have no clue how he got the ball to land there is beyond me. So those were easily the worst shots. And this was late Sunday. Jackson Suber, that's right.
There we go.
My DraftKings darling from last week.
He was in contention as well. That's impressive to do that.
Yes. So those are the worst shots of the week. All right, Yann, let's talk Shinnecock and break down this course. It's a monster. It's historic. They're going to be playing it as a par 70. It's about, I think they're calling it 7,400 yards. It's everything at this course. There's nothing easy about it. And it's going to be windy. So you've got weather. You've got long holes. There's only a couple of par fives. The greens can be laughably fast, like in 2018 when Zach Johnson most famously said they've lost the course. The rough is tough. It's just a brutal course. You cannot have any part of your game week, even around the green, is tough. The rough around the green is hard. So you have to be good off the tee, good with your irons, good with your wedges and chips, and you have to be good with the putting. It is just a brutal course. And now you throw in swirling winds. And in 2018, I lived it. A storm just randomly came in that wasn't on anybody's radar, and it completely ruined the morning round for those guys. And then the guys that went on the afternoon had pristine conditions, and it was one of those oh my God, what a lucky break. So Shinnecock is a beast. What's your take on Shinnecock?
The main point for me this week is every shot matters. You need to drive well. You need to be great on approach. You need to be great around the green. You need to putt. It's an all-round test, and you need to do all of them. Firstly, off the tee, there are some generous landing zones. You don't need driver on every hole. I'd lean accuracy over distance this week, other than 3 or 4 holes where drivers clearly have the advantage. And the big reason to like accuracy, like you say, the missed fairway penalty is going to be there. And it's not going to be fair either. You can hit 20 balls in the same bit of rough and get 20 different lies. I think you've got to be hitting fairways this week. For approach, it's all about course management on the second shots for me. Most of these greens are tilted. The ball will run off. There are some elevation changes and some blind shot, which makes things harder. And like you say, this course is just naturally very windy too. Another element to add into the mix. Even if you're good on approach, you're going to miss the greens. But great course managers will end up in manageable spots, and that'll be a big separator this week. Around the green play is a huge asset here. you're going to need to save a lot of pars with the short game. Bunkers are there, awkward lies around the green are there. Short game needs to be on point to not just thrive, but you'll need it just to make the cut here, I imagine. And then you're going to have to make some impossible putts. Already mentioned how insanely hard these greens are. Putting on them from anything more than 5 feet is going to be very hard. So the overall profile I'm looking for, like you say, it's everything. You need everything this week. It's accuracy off the tee, it's great approach and ball striking, it's great course management. And then the big two for me, it's you are going to need an around the green masterclass to contend and make some ridiculous putts. This course isn't a million miles away from links golf that we get over here. Some of these Europeans who are natural links golfers might go quite well. I would say they put on tougher conditions as it's a major week. I'm not expecting low scores at all, but I'm calling it now. This could be the best golf week of the year.
Yeah, and the other weird thing that I noticed there's just weird places of fescue that you wouldn't think it, but I can't tell you how many times there was guys in fescue. I remember Jason Day hit an approach that it looked pretty good, and then you got up there and he's just in this thick stuff that's just off the side. So there's these little patches of really, really hard stuff. So a couple memories from 2018. Adam Scott almost hit me right in the face with a ball. He was coming out of the fescue and I was standing on the other side of the fairway, and he hacked it and it went whizzing right by my head. We had a bet on Affy Barnrat. You remember that guy? We had a bet on him, and while he was trying to putt, a security guard was talking to somebody, and my buddy ran over and shushed the security guard. And then there was a guy playing with Kurt Kitayama was playing with like one of the local like pros, and the pro was just being terrible, and you could just tell it was bringing like Kitayama down, and Kitayama like hit a shot and it went in the grass, and we had a bet on him, so we ran over and was trying to help him like find the ball. We'll hold the ropes down for you, Kurt. He was like, "Why are these two guys following me?" And they're the only two guys following me. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it's the worst traffic ever in a sporting event, and I'll never go back. So if you're watching this and you're going, there's nothing you can do. There's not one thing you can do about the traffic. You're just stuck. So, all right, let's do one and done. I'll let you go first. Interesting week for one and done. Who'd you land on?
It's a fascinating week for one and done. I've landed on Tommy Fleetwood this week. He's accurate off the tee. He's going to find fairways and avoid a lot of trouble. His irons and wedges and his course management are all elite. The big kicker for me, he's always been elite around the green. I think that goes a long way here. He's a solid putter. I just think he's able to avoid a lot of the chaos this course brings. If you take out the miscut at the PGA, he's gone at 11th, 4th, and 5th in his last 3 events. He's had 6 top 10s in 2026. I think he's peaking at the right time. It feels like these last 2 majors are winnable for Fleetwood, and they certainly suit his style of play. I think he's an outright contender. He ticks the boxes. He's in good form. I think that his time has come to get a big one. Got to like Tommy Fleetwood's chances this week.
All right, so if you've been watching the show, my one and done picks have absolutely been mush. I have mushed the golfers that I pick. I'm like kind of near the bottom of our one and done league that we're in. So last week I just was like, you know what? I'll just take Victor Hovland for no reason. He hasn't played in a month. He missed the cut last time, and he finished 3rd. So we're going to do it again here, Yann. We're going to just pick a guy that I had no plans on picking. I almost used him in players that can trip you up. He missed the cut here in 2018. He hasn't been amazing since a certain big win, and he was 19th at the U.S. Open. Going with Rory McIlroy. Why not? Why not use a Rory McIlroy start? Haven't really heard many people talking about him, so it's all about Scheffler and what's Rahm going to be like. I hear a lot of Fitzpatrick buzz, so we'll go with Rory. All right, let's do total strokes gained. We'll take a look at the last 6 months, and I'm with you, Yann. We're looking at driving and off the tee and tee to green. I just think the winner is going to have a good number in this around the green here. So, of course, you got Scheffler and McIlroy and Rahm and Cameron Young. Jake Knapp is still up there. Remember our good friend Jake Knapp, who feels like we haven't heard from him in forever. I don't know. What are we looking at here? What jumps out on this page?
It's just an all green week, isn't it? I mean, you need green everywhere. I think you need accuracy in the driving. I'd start with the top around the green, guys. That's where I'd start, but it just has to be all green.
Yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick, Scottie Scheffler, Jason Day. Be careful with Jason Day. He has a very high ball flight with these winds. That could be trouble. Cam Smith is in there. Andrew Putnam, who missed the cut last week. Justin Thomas has been good. Patrick Cantlay. So those are some of your total strokes gained. But yeah, it's all the usual suspects here over the last 6 months. All right, let's move to players that can trip you up. While we're doing that, please take a second. Just hit the like button. It really helps us out. Drop us a comment. Tell us what bets you like, who you like this week to perform well. Give us a long shot, something in the comments section. Comment section has been really good this year. Appreciate you guys. So, all right, players that can trip you up. These are big names that I think people are going to pick, and I'm here to just warn you, be careful with these guys. So not an easy segment, but I think a lot of people are going to pick Wyndham Clark this week as a sneaky pick. And why not? Finishes a first, third, and 11th. I think this course is a little bit of a different animal for him. Two out of his tournaments were, one was a CJ Cup and one was the Canadian Open. Of course, has nothing to do with this. He did have a good finish at the Memorial, but he's just not a U.S. Open guy outside of that win at the LA Country Club, which that is the wonkiest U.S. Open course that they've played. But outside of that, his finishes are not that good. 3 missed cuts and a 56th place finish. I know they play at all these different courses, but U.S. Open setups kind of have a lot of the same features. And outside of that LA Country Club, it wasn't that good. His driving is not really elite in distance or accuracy, so I think he could get exposed this week. I think he's going to be a popular play based on his form. You know what, Yann? I mentioned him. I'm just done with Ludvig Åberg. I'm kind of done with him at these. Listen, win one. Can you be in the final group? Can you win a big one? He checks all the boxes, stats, the look, the size, but he should be contending for these majors. His major record: 4 missed cuts, 3 top 10s, a 12th, 21st, and 23rd. His best major finish was the very first one he played in, which was at the Masters. It hasn't been there. The last truly demanding course was the Memorial. He was 39th. I'm not betting on this guy at big tournaments until he shows he can reach his potential. Is he going to get there? Probably, but I'm not willing to pay for it. There's too many better picks in the field. And then I think Cameron Young's going to be a popular one. And listen, outstanding season, by far the best of his career. Recent trend, not trending in the right direction. 26th and 46 over the last 30 days. He's outside the top 50 in total strokes gained. The short game is what's been the concern. Putting it around the green has been struggling. And he's also not a U.S. Open guy. He finished 4th in last year's U.S. Open, but outside of that, he has not posted a top 30 in a championship. So he's one that's priced pretty expensive. I think there's better bets. So Wyndham Clark, Ludvig Åberg, Cameron Young. Don't be surprised if these guys don't meet your expectations if you're playing them. All right, let's do top 10 or missed cut. This is where we each pick a guy who we think could either finish in the top 10 or miss the cut. So who did you pick for this week?
So this is someone I've bet myself, so I know which one I'm rooting for. It's Justin Rose. You need class to contend at this event, and Rose is that. 12 PGA Tour wins, 8 DP Tour wins, 7-time Ryder Cupper. That's one of the best resumes in golf. His irons are there right now. One of the best approach players in the field, 3rd in the Masters, 10th in the PGA, 13th in the Players. When there's a rising class, Rose rises with it, and that fills me with a lot of confidence. The concerns here, he can be very wayward off the tee. He can easily find himself having some awful angles and lies for second shots, and he can be a bad putter at times. On these greens, I'm a bit tentative about how he handles it all. You have to take a couple of things on trust, but if he can bring it all together, he's more than good enough to contend outright. Could go either way with the putting and the accuracy off the tee for Justin Rose, so could be top 10 or a missed cut.
I landed on Bryson DeChambeau. We all know his ability, but this guy's missed the cut at the majors this year. He just looks like he's overthinking himself. He missed the cut at last year's U.S. Open, but he won the previous year. So we know what his upside is, but man, he's 3D printing these clubs, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I'm not seeing the results. So now, could he be in the final group? Absolutely. Like, what if he's in the right group where the wind has died down? Yeah, he could absolutely overpower this course, but he could also miss the cut by a million. All right, move to head-to-head matchups. I got 2 of them. How many did you get?
Yeah, I got 2 this week.
All right, give us your first one.
So I'm going to take Collin Morikawa over Tyrrell Hatton. So Collin ticks every box here. He's accurate off the tee. He's solid around the green. His irons and ball control are perfect for this track. And he can make a few putts these days, which is always a bonus. Yes, he's called off from that perfect 5 events in a row earlier in the year. And yes, he's had some injury issues. I get he's come out and he said it's still bothering him, but I think it's being overplayed a bit. And he's still a very competitive golfer, even with a back issue. And that 29th place finish last week feels like the perfect prep for this week. I think we get a big showing from Collin this week. And on the flip side, I think Tyrrell Hatton's going to hate this. We will have multiple meltdowns each round. He's going to hate the putting part of this assignment. He's going to have some horrible second shots because he's so wayward off the tee. Winning Live Andalusia is a worse prep than the top 30 at the Canadian Open. It just is. I'm happy to fade some of these Live boys this week. Don't think this is a good week for them. And Collin, if his back holds up, is just a much more complete package than Hatton right now.
Wow. I kind of like Hatton this week. I did Bryson top 10 or missed cut. I think it's more likely he misses the cut. I'll take Russell Henley over Bryson. I get steady Eddie with Henley, 7th and 10th, the last 2 U.S. Opens. Bryson has blow up, miscut potential. I just don't think Henley does. You wouldn't think this is a course that sets up well for him, but he made the cut and finished 25th here in 2018. And we've seen Henley he just knows how to make it around courses. He knows how to get his pars when needed. And, this guy may only have 2 decent birdie putts all day. And that may be all he needs to finish top 20 in a course like this. Meanwhile, Bryson could be, trying the tricky shot. And, so I'll take Russell Henley over Bryson. What's your second one?
So I'm going to go slightly different here. It's not a traditional head-to-head. I'm going to take Hideki Matsuyama, top Japanese player.
Yes.
So his rivals here are Ryo Hisatsune, Taihei Soto, Kaito Anishi, and Ruichi Iwa. So I think for the most part, we can call this a matchup between Hideki and Ryo. And Hideki just has such a class advantage here. Hideki is one of the best around the green players in the field. That really helps. His irons are solid. Accuracy off the tee is probably a bit of a concern. But he's one that I think where he's such a good course manager, even if he is wayward, it's not going to be to the same detriment as other players. 12th in the Masters, 26th in the PGA, 27th in the Players, all good showings. And Ryo Hitsusune's really cooled off. Only 2 top 40s in his last 7 events. And he's not a good around the green player or a good putter. I think he leaves a few strokes in the short game here. Give me the overall class of Hideki against 4 inferior players at this golfing test.
I've got a really obscure one. Tom Kim over Jackson Koiven. There's actually some buzz around Jackson Koiven. He's going to play as an amateur this week. He's one of those guys where analysts want to be like the analyst that was like, I told you Jackson Koiven was going to be good, and he probably is going to be good. Tom Kim is sneaky good at U.S. Opens. He played in 4 of them, and it's all the last 4 years. 33rd, 26th, 8th, and 23rd. He's made 4 straight cuts. This has not been a good year for him, but he's falling into form, and he just seems to know how to manage these tough U.S. Open setups. Jackson Koiven played last year's U.S. Open, missed the cut. So he's used to playing much easier courses, and this is far from easy. So I'll take the guy who has played in multiple majors, made the cut at U.S. Opens, and is probably going to be able to manage the weather and the setup a little bit better. So top finishers. This is where we pick top 5s, top 10s, top 20s, top 40s, whatever you want. What's your first one, Yann?
Firstly, I am going to take Andrew Putnam to make the cut at plus 100. we've been over it with him. The big killer is the lack of distance, and I just don't think it's an issue at this course. I think I'd much rather have someone just plot their way around here and avoid trouble, and that's exactly what Putnam's game is. He's good around the green, a good putter, a good iron and wedge player, and he obviously ticks the accuracy off the tee box. He's made the cut of the PGA, the Players, and the Arnold Palmer, so stepping up in class doesn't really seem to be an issue. He's only missed the cut twice in his last 12 events. Andrew Putnam makes the cut here. This price is very generous.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's not an upside guy, but he's a not make the huge mistake type of guy. So yeah, you mentioned the live guys. I'm with you. I don't like the setup for guys like Waco Neiman. Yeah, but there are two that I like, and Jon Rahm is one of them. I'll roll the dice for the top 10, including ties at +108. He likes U.S. Opens, 7th, 10th, 12th, 1st. He's top 3 in total strokes gained. That stat is a little deceiving because they're playing on some of those live courses, but there's been a couple decent tough ones. He's the class of live, and I think guys like him, Bryson, who knows what he's doing in the future, but guys like Rahm and some of these guys, their future is hanging in the balance. They need good finishes when they come over here. If live folds and these guys are not in good form, who knows what happens to them. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, but there's also going to be a lot of motivation for him. I think he's one of the most motivated guys in the field this week. So I'll go Jon Rahm at plus money. What's your second one?
My second one is Siwoo Kim top 30, -125, including the ties. So Siwoo has a perfect profile for this track. He's accurate off the tee. His irons have been perfect all year. He's a good course manager and can avoid mistakes. He's solid around the green. And his putting has massively improved in the last 9 events. He's a different player on the greens now. I just think his accuracy off the tee sets up really manageable second shots that most guys won't have. I think that gives him a big advantage. And then he is one of the best second shot players on tour. I think Siwoo's style of play is ideal for this assignment. It's 10 top 30s in 16 events for Siwoo in 2026. He's a very profitable player without actually winning, and that's exactly what you need for a top 30 finish. I think we get another 4 solid rounds from Siwoo Kim here.
I'm going to go with a +142 on a guy that at least I was kind of down on, but now I think there's value on him. Anyone notice Patrick Cantlay is playing a little bit better? He might have some value. I'll take him top 20, including ties. Top 20 in 5 out of the last 6 U.S. Opens. Top 20s in 5 out of the last 6 tournaments on tour. He was 12th at the Masters, 35th at the PGA Championship. So I think the market is kind of shifted a little bit too much to where Patrick Cantlay was priced as one of the top guys. And now he's better than what he's being priced in the market. So don't be surprised if Patrick Cantlay is in the top 20. All right, outright winners. Here we go. We got to pick an outright winner. Yann, you were on Bud Cauley last week. Insane Cauley, but on you, on Bud. So
outstanding.
Give us the U.S. Open winner.
Okay, so it's 2 again from me. First, the value play. Give me Brian Harman at 200 to 1. He actually ticks every box. He's accurate off the tee. He's good on approach. Has a good short game. He's good around the green. He can putt. He's just another one of those that lack distance, but his steadiness really compensates for that. He might just lack the class, but the foundations of the ideal game for this course is there for Harman. This course isn't a million miles away from the open course that he won a major at in 2023. He's suited to link-style golf, and this isn't far off it. I just love how this course sets up for his style of play. Really like Harman to make the cut. Really like Harman top 40, but this outright price is silly for a guy who will like this track and is as good as he is. If he can have one of his more classy weeks, he can contend. And my most likely winner, I think we all know where this is going. It's the pride of Yorkshire. Give me Matthew Thomas Fitzpatrick at 22 to 1. The best player in the world is here to play. Perfect profile for this test. Elite ball striker. He's accurate off the tee. Short games there. Can make putts. Elite course manager, and I think this is the key. He won't be having some of these issues that other guys will have because he has the ball control skills and intelligence to avoid all of them. He's playing so well right now. 9 top 20s in 14 events with 3 outright wins in there. He came second in a prep week where he didn't even get out of first gear for the Canadian Open. Second in the Players, 14th in the PGA, 18th in the Masters. He's more than classy enough to compete here. Give me the best ball striker and the best around the green player in the field. It's not even a bit anymore. He's genuinely the best player in the world right now. A major is coming back to Sheffield.
Wow. I'm glad you didn't throw that he won the Zurich Classic as part of his resume. I'm proud of you for not including that.
That's Alex's achievement. That's
I was just saying, because I do that when I pick Alex. Xander Schauffele's got to win a U.S. Open at some point. He's too good at these events. I heard this on a podcast. I'm pretty stunned by it. He has the same number of top 12 finishes at U.S. Opens as Tiger Woods at eight, and he's only played 9 U.S. Opens. His worst finish is 14th. I think what it is. Oh, and by the way, finished 6th at this course in his second U.S. Open in 2018. So I've watched him do it. I think what it is at these U.S. Opens, you don't have to go low. And I think he's just really good at taking pars when needed. I think that's kind of his resume. But these finishes are truly insane. 12th, 7th, 10th, 14th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, 6th, 5th. At U.S. Opens, that is just insane. I'm getting him at 17-1. Hasn't been his best year, but it just, when you look how good he's been at all of these different courses, and he played so good here in 2018, you're just like, is he really going to end his career with no U.S. Open wins? So I'll take him at 17-1 at a pretty good price. All right, Draftkings Darlings. Hard to say how everyone did. I entered mine in a couple tournaments. I won a couple. I lost a couple. So I had 2 missed cuts, but Jackson Suber came through scoring massive points at a low price. So, all right. So what we do here is I give you 3 lower price guys, and my final lineup is up on WagerTalk.com. I post a free article there. It's got all these write-ups in there. And you and I are lockstep. I got Siwoo Kim at only 7,200. You did a good job explaining everything. I don't need to go into it. Yeah, he just at 7,200. I was pretty surprised to see him there. Sam Burns, 7,700. He's been playing really, really well. Consistent. He's been one of those where he'll finish second and then miss cut, and like he was the ultimate miscut or top 10 guy. But I like how he's playing now. He's posted 6 top 25 finishes in the last 9 tournaments. He's 12th in total strokes gained in that stretch, and we know that he is one of the guys like Maverick McNeely whose putter can go red hot. Plus 1.01 putting in that stretch, second best mark in the field. And just on a U.S. Open setup, you hit your fairways. It comes down to, can you make those just really difficult 15-footers and get a couple birdies? So Sam Burns is definitely a guy that I want a little piece of. And Patrick Reed at 7,900, he just brings it at these majors. This season alone, 12th at the Masters, 10th at the PGA Championship, 2 wins and a runner-up on the DP World Tour. This guy is motivated. He's one of those guys that jumped ship from Live, and he's looking for a home. And he's got the mental attitude to deal with brutal conditions. This guy shows emotion, but tough courses he just seems to thrive on. He just seems to get better. So under 8,000, I'm pretty surprised that I get Patrick Reed, who's got real upside at majors. So Siwoo Kim, Sam Burns, and Patrick Reed are 3 of my favorite DraftKings picks this week. All right, we got a lot of specials over at Wager Talk. We always have our Get 7 Days of Golf for $25. Yann with a great call on Bud Cauley last week. So all of our plays for the U.S. Open will be up there. If you're interested in all sports, which we highly recommend because we've been red hot. Yann, I got to give you so much credit, and Dan so much credit. 5-1 start to the World Cup. So get an all sports package. We've got 3 days, get 3 free. It gets you all of our sports. We've got multiple baseball, WNBA. There's a cricket play that's up right now. So all the sports is what we really, really recommend. That's over at wt.buzz/AL. We're up 45 units just in June. So June has been incredible. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're well over 250,000 viewers and growing. We got to be doing something right. Drop us a comment. Tell us who you like in the U.S. Open. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone next week.